When we are customers, when we are to become customers, we want to see ourselves in some way as heroes in an adventure. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video, the similarities between the hero's journey, which we find in all great stories, and the buyer's journey. I have made a model where I suggest how entrepreneurs and marketers can use great storytelling and my version of the hero's journey model to acquire and keep satisfied customers. If you right now want to see this model, you can jump a couple of minutes into this video and skip the introduction. Or you can read my blog post where I also have a link to a press presentation where I in-depth explain my model. I will now briefly describe my perspective. Welcome to Inventicity, the channel where we combine inventiveness with felicity. My name is Cecilia Elise Wollin, and today I'm going to talk about the buyer's journey. I have always been very interested in literature and in mythology, and I have used different models to analyze literature, but I have found this model, the hero's journey, very, very useful for analyzing ancient literature, ancient stories, religious stories, and for analyzing modern novels and movies. This model, the hero's journey, which was invented by the researcher Joseph Campbell and refined by later researchers. This model, the hero's journey, is so useful for analyzing literature, stories and movies. Almost all stories we consume and like, they follow the pattern described in the model, the hero's journey. So this is a way we like stories to be told. And I find the buyer's journey very similar to the hero's journey. As humans, we experience, I think that we as humans experience the adventures in our lives, our big adventures and our small adventures in our everyday lives. Similar to the hero's journey, this is deeply rooted in our human mind, and we consequently experience our adventures as buyers, as customers, in a similar way, a very similar way to the hero's journey. So I will now show you how to use a combination of my version of the hero's journey and buyer's journey for acquiring and keeping satisfied customers. Awareness. The customer is aware of his problem but do not yet know how to solve it. This is the same step as in stories when the adventure starts. The hero is in his safe, well-known home environment, but a shortcoming or mission forces the hero to embark on an adventure. Search. At this stage, the prospective customer searches for information online and by talking to friends, family and colleagues. In stories, this is when the hero embarks on an adventure and starts to get help from counselors and friends. Education. In this phase, the prospective customer seeks education. Here, as an entrepreneur, you should offer articles, blog posts and videos that orient the prospective customers towards what are the best solutions to his or her problems. It is important that you, as an entrepreneur, show genuine helpfulness and instill confidence. In stories, this stage shows how the hero receives advice from his or her advisors and friends, and based on their guidance starts to realize how she or he shall solve the problem and reach his or her goal. Consideration. In this phase, the customer becomes more knowledgeable and well-oriented and limits the options on how to solve her or his problems. Evaluation. In this phase, the prospective customer evaluates and analyzes different options. She or he is becoming increasingly clear on how to solve her or his problem. Rationalization. The analysis leads to the customers making a purchase decision. This is a critical phase. The customer has made a purchase decision and now needs good reasons to make the purchase. This phase corresponds to peripeteia in the classic hero stories. Decision. The purchase is carried out. ongoing delivery. The customer made the purchase but now expects it to solve the problem and lead to improvements in his or her life. I have for a very long time, since I was a child, been very interested in literature and poetry, and I have found that the model, the hero's journey, is very useful for analyzing ancient literature and also for analyzing modern novels, stories and movies. This model, the hero's journey, was invented by the researcher Joseph Campbell, and it has been refined and revised by different researchers. And I find this model so useful, not only for analyzing great stories and for writing stories, but also very useful for marketing and advertising. So, deeply rooted in our human consciousness, the hero's journey makes us experience stories, but not only stories, also adventures, our own adventures in our lives, and our great adventures in our lives, and our small adventures in everyday life. We experience our own adventures and we retell what we have been through, following the patterns in this model, the hero's journey. So this is how we experience a lot of things in our lives and how we retell what we have experienced, and also how we tell stories in an enchanting way. And the buyer's experience is not an exception. We tend to experience our buyer's journey as a small adventure, following the same pattern as the hero's journey in great stories. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next video. Welcome to subscribe to Inventicity.